Hi, my name is Tracy Hecker. This is COM 101, Speech 2, Informative Speech. Here are my note cards. From a group consisting of only 2 members to now over 2 million members and growing, Alcoholics Anonymous has been the saving grace for many. There are many ways to get from point A to point B and to cross that finish line, and the same holds true for those suffering from an addiction. They either seek self-help, medical profession, or enter into a treatment program. This disease that I speak of, and I'm sure everyone either knows of someone, has been directly affected by someone, or maybe even you yourself has suffered from it, is alcoholism. Alcoholics Anonymous is a daunting thing in and of itself, but if you can understand how the program came to be, what the program thrives for, and the benefits that have come from the program is especially beneficial for those seeking to get help. So let's start from the very beginning. William Griffith Wilson, better known as Bill Wilson, was one of the co-founders of AA. It all started at the age of 11 for him when his parents got divorced and shipped him and his sister off to live with his mother's parents. His grandfather played a huge role in his upbringing, enrolled him into a private school where he was the captain of his football team, senior class president, and was also an accomplished fiddler and violinist, whom, by the way, was self-taught. Things started to look even better for Wilson when he met Lois and they married right before he was deployed to serve in World War I in January 1918. It was during that time, however, that he had his first alcoholic beverage. He returned from the war and was successful at trading stock on Wall Street, but that all changed when the market took a crash in 1929, sending him into massive depression and being chronically dependent on alcohol. It was one of many times that he admitted himself to Towns Hospital to seek help, but especially important on that day in December 1934 because he had what he called a spiritual awakening and vowed never to pick up a drink again. What that spiritual awakening is or was is unknown. 6 months after taking that vow, though, he was tempted to pick up a drink when a business deal fell through. He desperately started calling people, and the phone was finally answered by Dr. Bob, who also suffered from alcoholism. Only willing to give 15 minutes to Bill, turned into a 5-hour-long conversation between the two and their desire to help others get and stay sober. And this is how AA was born. It was born on June 10, 1935, but did not become official until 2 years later in 1937. So what exactly is AA? A lot of people think that it's a religious group, and that's probably because some of the meetings were held in churches and there was a prayer said at the end. But it's not. There's no Bibles, no hymns, and no preaching to a God. It's a fellowship of peers who are equally challenged to getting sober, staying sober, and helping others do the same. Although God is referenced 4 times throughout the 12-step program, and as stated by Debbie Carter in Great Thinkers, William Griffith Wilson, it was, quote, his principles for sobriety, end quote. So what Wilson was asking the individual to do was to interpret and draw your own conclusion on what the 12 steps meant to the individual. He also wanted you to believe in a higher power, a power that was greater than you and your addiction. One AA member who appeared on the A&E special called Inside Alcoholics Anonymous referenced the 12-step program as the, quote, house cleaning, end quote, of the program. So really what it was taking a moral inventory of yourself, righting all your wrongs and confronting those that you have hurt along the way and making amends. There are 3 things that the program relies heavily on, and that's autonomy, anonymity, and the member's contribution back to the program to keep it running. Autonomy was important because it gave the member a sense of power and being in control of the decisions and choices that they made. You see, there was no membership fees and no contracts. You come and go as you please with no restraint. Anonymity was important because it gave the member a sense of security and safety from being exploited. It didn't matter what your background was, you were all struggling with the same thing. And some interesting facts that I found out about the program in doing my research. Did you know that AA is a self-run organization and they seek no outside help from anybody? Did you also know that only members of AA can contribute back to the program, and that cap is capped off annually at $2,000? That's right, everything that pours back into the program and keeps it running comes from the members and the members only. If you are not a part of the group and you want to contribute, your contributions will be kindly declined. So let's end with some of the benefits that have come from the program. AA is not for everybody, but studies have shown that AA does work for many. There is not a definite number of how many members and groups exist today, and that's due to the anonymous nature of the program. but a report taken directly from the AA.org website as recent as 2018 showed that there were over 2 million members, 125,000 groups across 180 countries, and I can only imagine that number growing since 2018. An article from Scientific American Mind, authors Hal Arkowitz and Scott Liebenfeld talked of a study that was done over a course of 16 years. It was individuals that entered into an AA program and those that try to seek help on their own. After the 16 years, studies showed that 67% of those that were in AA stayed sober, compared to only 34% that tried to do it on their own. Bill composed 4 books during his time, but the one that had the most impact was Alcoholics Anonymous, or better known as the Big Book. According to a Washington Post article by Gillian Brocco in May 2018, the book sold over 30 million copies, was translated into 67 different languages, and received the top 10th spot in the top 25 books that changed America. According to an article from Stepping Stones, the historic house of Bill and Lois Wilson, the book helped change the way people perceived and saw alcoholism. It wasn't a defect or a weakness, but rather a disease of the mind, the body, and the spirit, which is exactly what medical professionals have been saying all along. So the book just helped kind of reinforce that theory. Not to mention, Narcotics Anonymous, Heroin Anonymous, and Gamblers Anonymous, just to name a few, also fostered the same 12-step programs as AA. So AA is not just a program that helps individuals suffering from alcoholism. It's a program designed to help the individual correct all their deficiencies. Consider it a new way of living, a rejuvenation of the mind, the body, and the spirit. You see, if you can understand how the program was born, what the program goals are, and the benefits that have come from the program is extremely beneficial for those considering if this is a program that they want to take. And according to Albert Pujols, it's not how you start, but how you finish that is really important. Thank you.